Just a moment, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting ready to go live here on YouTube. Really looking forward to this podcast. As a matter of fact, I'm so excited about this podcast that's coming up because I have an opportunity to speak to somebody. His name is Prashant TriVedi, and this guy is literally a pioneer. I mean, this guy has studied, researched, gone deep into the Vedas, and also Vedic astrology, also language, also history. And ladies and gentlemen, you know that if you've been following me here at the Leak Project, I've been getting deep into the Sumerian stuff, the Egyptian stuff, the Greek mythos, the Hebrew mythos. And what you are about to hear is it sounds like these Vedas could predate many of these scriptures and prophecies by thousands of years. And they've actually been kind of reconfigured. And this is one thing that I'm going to have a difficult time, but it's going to be interesting to hear the explanation about the flat earth. So I'm going to have an open mind about it. Right. I really am. But you're saying this is like predating the Sumerian tablets, and it's predating the Egyptian stuff going way back.
Yes.
And thanks a lot for joining us. I am really excited to speak with you. Heidi from Channel 27. She's very good at astrology, Vedic astrology, and she says she gets a lot of it from you. So how cool is that? Thanks a lot for joining us here.
And thanks for having me. I mean, like what is happening nowadays, like in like YouTube and like all the truth talk which is happening, you know, like the Vedic angle I find is always missing. You know, it's not being represented much in any place, and so it would be a good idea to like just bring it to the table first, like sort of begin the process, so to say. Like, yeah. So I think that this is like an important podcast in that way, like for the whole YouTube community as a whole. So yeah.
And before we get into that, tell the audience, because a lot of people that are listening to you right now have not heard of you before. So give a brief background on who you are and where you're from.
I'm from like what is now called India. Okay. Now, before it was called Bharat. Okay. That was its name. And now the Bharat, its goddess was Bharati. Okay. And that Bharati became Britha, and it became Brita, which became Britannia, which became Britain, which became Brittany, the goddess Brittany with the spear, Brittany, which is actually the goddess Bharati. She holds a spear in her hand. Now Brittany holds a spear in her hand. And that's how you get the Brittany spears and in the West and everything. So, you know, like I'm just giving you like how that Vedic thing translates into the Western world, like on a variety of levels where you don't see it, like where it is coming from, but it is coming from there. So that's where I come from. And I had interest in the Vedic texts from a young age, like 8, 9. So I was reading them from that point. And the thing was that I was reading like science and whatever in school and stuff, and which everybody reads, like the same thing which they teach in the West, they teach you in India too. And a lot of things I could not sort of get my head around, like, like, for example, how is water curving and how are oceans staying like that on a ball or anything, or like even gravity, or a lot of things like didn't add up, so like then I was looking at the Vedic text and looking at the modern science. So I mean, there's a huge discrepancy between the two. So like, you are trying to figure out which one is correct, and because in the Vedic text, it was clearly saying that Earth is a flat plane, which is called Bhumandala. It is a flat plane, and and if you put water on a flat like utensil like that, it makes sense. It will stay down. It's easy like to understand that. Then on a ball, which is spinning so fast. I mean, you put water on a ball and move it so fast, everything will just go off it rather than, like it's not something which made sense, So like, I mean, so it was a clash between the ancient Vedic knowledge and the whatever has been happening the last 400 years, whatever they've been teaching, like, I mean, which are theories, like everything was theory, like gravity was a theory, Big Bang is a theory of evolution is a theory, everything is a theory, it's not a fact. I mean, now, but they teach those things as facts in school and colleges now, like, so there is a whole, like a mismatch which is happening, and that's what triggered me into like learning more about these things, and as I went on and on, I found that the ancient Vedic thing is a more correct paradigm of the place we live in. It is a more accurate representation of where we are, who we are, and what is going on here, rather than what is being told to us in the mainstream.
Let me jump in on that if I can, please.
Yeah.
When you say it's more accurate, if you could please explain that in more detail, but let me just give a quick reason why I asked that. If you look at many of the math formulas that have been presented based on a globe, based on a circular Earth. Now, you look at the satellites, you look at the GPS, and you also talk to people that have circumnavigated the globe. And based on all the information that has been presented for hundreds of years, thousands of years, I mean, even the ancient Sumerians looked at the Earth as a globe, and they were given, here's one thing that I do find interesting, though, that I do find interesting, because in the Sumerian time frame, the common folk didn't have access to telescopes. They were just given formulas on how to look at the stars and how to align everything up. So the fact that they didn't come up with it themselves, that they were given that information by somebody else or by another race, whether they're from Earth or not, makes me think, okay, so there could be some hanky-panky, there could be some foul play there,
The thing is, like, in the Sumerian angle which you brought in, that is an interesting one, because the thing is, like, most of the Sumerian things have been done by Mr. Sitchin, Zechariah Sitchin. Okay. When he brought the whole thing up, like the Anunnaki thing up and the whole thing, I find that whatever tablets are there or whatever that is there, I mean, that can be interpreted many ways. It's not a singular interpretation you can give to that. A lot of people have come up with different things of those circular things. I mean, circular things are not necessarily spheres. Okay. Round does not mean a sphere. I mean, that is like, something can be round, but it doesn't have to be a ball. Like, I mean, the thing was that if you start looking at the Earth thing, like, I mean, NASA and stuff, what they've been saying is, like, even in school, we were taught that it is not a sphere, it is a oblate spheroid. Okay, Earth was. Okay, so now all the pictures NASA gives, which are composites, are complete spheres. Okay, so I mean, so there is a hanky-panky going on out there for sure. Like, that's, I mean, they're not making up their mind whether it's a sphere or it's an oblate spheroid, what Earth actually is. So there's not much communication between whosoever is making the graphics for NASA and whosoever is telling people in the science books what Earth is actually like. I think, like, a lot of the Sumerian stuff, which came from tablets, okay, can be misrepresented, and like, because it's not like actual text, which is telling things. Like in Vedic things, there's Sanskrit. Okay, it's a language. And you can read that language and you can understand things. Just like in English, you are reading a book or you're reading something, then it is coming out to you straight. It's not just pictures. Like in Egyptian stuff, is a lot of halographics, again, images rather than actual text. So that creates a lot of confusion, because that can be interpreted many, many ways. So that's how I'll put the Sumerian thing into context with the flat Earth, that we can't go on just one person's interpretation of those tablets, so yeah.
Well, and I appreciate that, but as far as Zechariah Sitchin goes, like his interpretations, there were actually many other scholars that have done interpretations on the Sumerian tablets.
Yeah.
And, you can go to Oxford University, which I want to get into. I heard what you had to say about Oxford, and I can appreciate that. And, but you read through other people's translations as well that have nothing to do with Oxford, have nothing to do with Zechariah Sitchin. And I have done multitudes of podcasts on this. And I find it interesting that these tablets, whether or not they're 100% accurate or not. And here's another thing too. Who wrote the tablets? I mean, obviously whoever wrote the tablets had an agenda as well.
I mean, those things can be created right now even. Okay. I mean, you can make tablets up right now even. There's nothing very hard to do in that. Okay. I mean, you can take stone and you can put stuff on it right now even. I mean, whatever you want. You can put spaceships on it. You can put anything on it. Like, the thing is, like, when it comes to language and texts, that's a different matter. Like, it's a very, very different thing. Sanskrit is another is a language which is not much has happened in the last 5,000 years in that language anyways. It's not changed. It's not evolved. It's whatever it has been, it has been. It's not being moving forward. So it remains an ancient language. So people can't even like compose in it right now, or can't do things in it right now anyways, so there's much less chance of anything, new coming up, or people doing things or playing around with it, or fooling around with it in that. I think with tablets and all of that, like a lot can be done. I mean, if it's coming from Oxford and stuff, you can't you can't trust those people. Ford was fraud in Old English. It was a word. You can look it up. Like the word Ford means fraud, and ox meant bull, earth. It was earth, fraud, and everybody knows now like that. Like England, London has been controlling the world, like, and financially at least, for a long period. They were having overt control just 200 years ago. Over, like, sun never set on the British Empire. They had overt control, and so whatever they were saying, and all these things have come in the last 400 years only. It's not nothing very old. Like, before that, a lot of other civilizations thought Earth was flat. Like, whether you go to the Mayans, whether you go into Native Americans, you go anywhere. Like, you go to the Hopi, you go anywhere. Like, their cosmology is flat, for a flat plane. So
time out for a second, if I can.
Yeah.
You're saying that those other cultures, the Mayans, and what I would like to know what native tribes as well, if you know exactly which ones, they said the Earth was flat.
Earth was flat, yeah. Because I spent like 6 months with the Hopi. I was with the elders out there, like Dan, Ibrahim and stuff. Like, and because I was working on Hopi Vedic parallels. Their whole cosmology, like where they have the 4-corner map of Earth, and it is total flat Earth map. Their map of Earth, like, the Hopi tribe. So people can go and research this. Because there've been enough number of books on Hopi, and researches have happened. So the Hopi elders are like, whom I met, were totally for Earth being flat. There's nothing about a ball in the Hopi cosmology. Like, so
what happens when you get to the edge?
From what we know right now, like, there's a wall there, ice wall. Every time you go south, whether you go from Australia, whether you go from South America, you are coming across a wall. There are so many films now, like in YouTube, there are at least thousands and thousands and thousands of films now on flat Earth. So I wouldn't like to waste all my time, like, explaining that, but people can go out and check out all the films, and check out all the maths they're doing, and check out all the experiments which have been done, because a lot of the experiments which were done even in the early 19th century or early 20th century, they were all showing that Earth is stationary, first not moving, and it is flat. All the horizon ones, like where you look at a boat from 20 miles, and on a horizon you can still see it. You can put a little boat in a canal, and you can still see it after 8 miles. When on a curve, you should not be able to see it. There's so many practical examples people are doing, and the amount of proof for the flat Earth is now lining up in the last 2-3 years. It's like really building up. Okay, but the Vedic thing was there beforehand. It's before like all this proof started building up, and people started coming to know about a lot of the hoaxes, about the moon hoax and the landing hoax, and so all of that knowledge just keeps on like adding on to each other. So like all the lies, obviously, if the governments have been lying, they're not just lying about one thing. Then they have to be lying about everything. Like, it's not, if people are being kept dumb and stupid, it will not be on just one topic. It'll be as a whole. And according to me, like the whole thing has a spiritual basis, I think. This whole model, like the ball model, where Earth goes around the sun. You just, and you are in a little speck compared to the sun. Earth is a little speck, and the sun is a little speck compared to the Milky Way. And you just keep on rotating around, and the sun keeps on rotating around the center of the Milky Way. You just go round and round and round without any rhyme or reason. It just makes, and you are just a little insect on that little speck, as a human being. It just gives the human life no meaning at all. That cosmology just makes you like almost redundant in this universe. Like,
if I can just say something on that real quick, and I respect your opinion, but I completely disagree with what you just said about if that's the model. I think that's exciting. I'm like, yeah, all right, that's wonderful. I can go check out the Earth, and now I can go blast into space. I've got all these other stars. And if you look at the whole scheme of things, we're all just the size of a piece of sand in an endless beach. That's exciting to me, right?
Yeah,
That makes people think it's like, oh man, I don't even want to live anymore because I'm just useless, because I'm just a little.
No,
I feel the exact opposite. I think that's exciting.
But it is is it happening? You know, like it's exciting if it is actually happening. If you are traveling light years every day, if you are actually doing that, then it's exciting. Yeah, but
it is, imagine getting a spaceship and traveling.
Star Trek is not like the Starship Enterprise is not happening, isn't it? Like the Star Trek is not really happening. Okay, like I mean, it's if it was happening, like if
dang it, man, quit saying that.
If you're finding other worlds, if you're that thing, if all of this is happening every day, like you know, like for Captain Kirk, it happens every day. You know, like but for any being out here, actually nothing like that is happening at all. You know, like so like the thing is that like you are being like that on a speck anyways. Even if you're doing that, you're still on a speck. Like and it's much smaller than a grain of sand on a beach. It's much smaller than that. That's a analogy you gave, but this is much less than that. Okay, it doesn't give you any this rotation thing is it's senseless to me, like the merry-go-round. The point is that if it doesn't give you any sense of up and down of other planes of existence, it makes everything physical first, 3D physical, and it gives you no sense of other dimensions or other parallel realities or other transdimensional realities. It just doesn't give you a sense of that, of higher, because the Vedic cosmology is about planes which are higher and planes which are lower. And the same thing which happens in Lord of the Rings, this is called the Middle Earth, like battle for the Middle Earth, the Midgard, okay, in the Nordic thing, the same thing, which is what the Vedic says, that the Earth is the middle plane, and the Nordic is saying the same thing. And then all of these things are happening at the same, and that's what my point is, that when you have a spiritual sense, that if Earth is a stationary plane and you are here and you can go to higher planes, lower planes, that is also exciting as well. There's huge distances involved in that too, but of a different kind. Like this model makes everything just 3D and physical, and it doesn't give you anything more than that. In that also, it is like a carrot which is not happening. The Star Trek was in 1960s, right? Like the series first came out, right? Mm-hmm. What is this, 2017, right? Only thing we have from that is the mobile phone, right?
No way, man. China's got proton teleporters and stuff, man. Come on. Did you hear about that recently? China teleported a photon 400 kilometers into the orbit. Well, and I appreciate what you're saying.
They're good stories. They're good to hear. There's no factual proof of any of this. Nobody can see that.
Like you said, I can say everything that you've just said. I can pretty much say back to you and say, well, how do you know that those texts weren't mistranslated? How do you know that these cultures weren't lied to?
I'm just saying, we have to put both the models in front. Okay, both the models are there. This is there, this is there. Okay, people have to look into them as much as they want to and see which one sort of fits our reality and which one they would want to have, go by. For example, if the whole life is an accident, there's no creator. The whole thing is just that thing, and you just come from monkeys and whatever. Has been taught. Because that model goes together. Everything is together in that. If one thing falls, everything falls. It's not. It's all that thing. So people have to make the judgment for themselves. Everybody is has to take a call on it, basically. For example, you have this Darth Vader thing behind you, right? This image, okay, which from Star Wars, right? Okay, now Darth Vader was very similar to the word Earth Invader. Okay, Earth Invader. If you take the in out, you have Vader and Earth Invader. Okay, if you look at it, and then the Earth Invader thing is seems like a negative thing. Okay, but if you look at it from a point of view that if this Earth invasion from a the Darth place happens to take out the system we have in place right now, which is oppressing people and which is not really doing good around the world, so then it becomes a good thing. Then the Darth Vader becomes a good thing. It doesn't seem so bad anymore. I think, I mean, even through Dark Weather, they're showing the like something else. It's not what they are, like in the Star Wars, like, for example, like the Jedis, the Jedis are there, right? Now, if you take it one step back, you'll go to the Egypt, Jed, pillars. Now, the word Jed comes from D-J-E-D, comes from Egypt. Okay. And the Jed pillar is the spinal column, like, okay, in the Egyptian. Now, spinal column, you'll come to the Vedic, then the spinal column will be Kundalini. So Kundalini rising up to the spinal column, up to the third eye, all of that. So if you keep on taking something 2 steps back, you'll always reach Vedic. In my view, like, you come to the Egyptian and then back to, and then how to raise the Kundalini, how to open your third eye. For that, everything will be, again, you'll have to come to Vedic, So like, if you take these 2 steps in anything, I mean, that's why they have this lightsabers, and they light up. That means your Kundalini is going through your spine, your spine is lit up, all your chakras are lightened up. Okay, so then you have that saber. Like, that is the Jedi's saber, actually. Opened up chakras and spine, illuminated spine, actually. So spinal column. And that is the whole 33 degrees, because there are 33 vertebrae in the spine. So that is the 33 degree of Freemasonry or whatever. Everything just fits back into that. Okay. So what I'm saying is, like, everything has like a sort of a common root. No matter where you go, if you go to the Nordic things or the Mayan things or the Aztec things or the Egyptian or anywhere you go on earth, I mean, there is like a root, like, thing to everything. And I find that the Vedic thing actually takes that, and the world tree, for example, like, it is there in the Hebrew thing, it is there in the Nordic thing. Then the Vedic thing also has the world tree. I mean, the axis, the Mount Meru, the axis mundi, everything. What I'm saying is, like, if you keep on peeling the layers back into anything, the Vedic will come in. Like when astrology started and stuff, like, people learned Vedic astrology, like Western astrology, and after that, then Vedic astrology came, because afterwards people came to the Vedic system in the end. Whenever people start peeling layers to anything, the Vedic does come in the end. For example, like, even if in the West people decide to leave meat and they become vegetarian, right? Okay. And they say, like, I'm not going to eat meat anymore. Then it comes to, like, what are you going to eat? If you're not going to eat meat, like, what are you going to eat? Okay. Then you have to eat lentils and stuff and all of that, for proteins and all of that. Again, you come to India, basically. That's where all the majority of the lentils are from. This, because, like, that civilization was agriculture-based civilization for thousands of years. Thousands and thousands of years. It was a primarily vegetarian agricultural society. So for thousands of years. Okay. So all of that thing, like, I find that you come back to the Vedic in everything, like, if you just peel back the layers. And I think as the awareness is increasing and more people are coming to know about more things, it's only a matter of time before more light will be shed on that. And people will sort of peel back the next layer from Jed pillar to the spinal cord, to the Kundalini, to the chakras. Okay. So it's just a matter of, time. Like, I mean, that's what this talk is about. Like, I mean, to me, like, when I'm doing this with you, like, to just like sort of give your audience a little starter taster of the Vedic thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, because really, let's move into the Vedas and stuff like that, because I could ask a million questions about the flat Earth. Like, do you think that they blew a hole into the ice wall and jumped on some snowmobile? And anyway, I could be a total goofball about that. I'm having all sorts of stuff coming to my mind, but really, let's get into the deep stuff. Let's get into the Vedas. Let's get into how old you think they are. And also, if you would explain to our audience how you've done the research on the root of words, so you can say, okay, I can break this word down to, like you just said. We're also going to connect some of the Hollywood films to Vedas and ancient Vedic texts. And also, like, I read the Sumerian stuff and I see a lot of films that are correlating with the Sumerian stuff, the Greek mythos, but if they all come from the Vedas. But I want to ask you questions about the monkey people, the cosmic wars, CERN. So I'll ask as many questions as I can in the amount of time that I have with you.
Yeah, we can start with, like, the word CERN, like, the CERN, and a lot of people have concern about CERN, like, right? a lot of people are concerned about CERN, like, right? Like right now, like a lot of people are concerned, like, and like, I mean, I'll tell you, like, there are two things. Okay. In this universe, there are two paths, like according to the Vedic thing. There's inside out or outside in. Okay. Now I'll make you understand what inside out and what is the difference. Okay. In inside out path, you go inside yourself and you develop your power from there. And like, for example, if you want to make rain happen in a place where there's not rain for 10 years, let's say 4, 5 years, 10 years, no rain. And then you can go inside and you can put out that intent from inside for rain to happen, like which was a rain dance, which natives used to do, or rain song, or you can play some music, or you can put your intent out in any way from the inside, and then the rain will happen. Clouds will gather and rain will happen. Okay. I mean, that is the inside out way. Okay. I mean, now they're saying that they're trying to control the weather through harp and stuff, which is external, like machine way of trying to control something. And in the Vedic thing, it said like the inside out way is always much stronger than the outside in way. Okay, so there are these two, like this important thing. So like CERN, harp, all these things come under the outside in way. They don't come in the inside out way. Okay, and so inside out way can always beat the outside in way. So people don't need to be concerned about that, because there's not much power and there's nothing is happening. Okay, people are giving too much credence to these things. Okay, if they have a particle accelerator, they have colliding particles, let them collide them. There's nothing going on. You know, like people think tomorrow they'll just create a suction vacuum with which the whole earth will go into it and we'll just be blasted off. Like nothing like that is going to happen. Okay. I mean, I'm saying that like from my knowledge of the Vedic things. Okay, it's on the basis of that. Okay, so I mean, because all these are big concerns. I mean, and as far as words are concerned, for example, the word physics. Okay, I mean, if you go ask a professor of physics in any university, what does physics mean? I mean, you're a professor of physics, just tell me what physics means. I mean, I don't know that. I don't think they'll be able to answer the question what physics means. What they use the term, they're a professor of it, but they don't know what that word means. Okay, so that's the situation. We are like, it's like a Planet of the Apes kind of situation. You know that movie, like, you know, like where you know all these these people are there.
We're
and
in Planet of the Zombies right now.
Yeah. And it's Planet of the Apes kind of situation. Exactly. Like, okay, you're using that word, you're a professor of it, but you don't know what it is. Okay, the word physics came from phi. Phi means golden ratio, PHI. And the 6 SICS came from the root scissors, cutting. So cutting up of phi ratios in different ways, that's what physics is, nothing else. Okay, so whether you have hydrogen atom or helium atom, they all follow the phi logic, and all of their like spacings and everything are based on that, and everything. So I mean, it's just cutting up phi ratios in different ways, and that's how nature functions. It functions on the golden ratio, all of the nature, everything around us. Okay, so it was cutting up of those essences and trying to see how those essences are cut up and used, which is the same as sacred geometry, platonic solids, everything. Okay, so I mean, what I'm saying is, like that all these things. I mean, the situation right now is that whatever there is in the mainstream, that thing. I mean, they don't teach you anything. Like they don't teach you even the A, B, C, D of ABCD when they teach you English. Like, you know, so it becomes very difficult for people to move further. And then, I mean, that's, I mean, I was saying on the other places as well, like when you do that, like when you don't have any foundation, you build a building, it falls down. You know, you just go here and there, and you're totally like disoriented and disconnected from that thing. And I mean, that's what it becomes, like a Tower of Babel, and it just falls over and over again, basically, because you don't have any foundation to anything. I mean, sounds, what they mean, or anything from a root level. You know, like in word, in W, like if you use the word, W is the first thing. Now, what is W? What is W? Like
W is a vibrational frequency.
No, but I'll tell you what W is. W is a wave.
Okay.
That's why the word for V, W. W is wave. You know, like this keeps on going like that. Okay, W is actually a wave, and O is a circle. Okay, and R is rotation. R is always rotation. You know, like even if you make big R, you make a rotation like this. That's it. And the D is cup. Okay. So cup means rotational wave dynamics within a fixed field. That's what a word is. Okay. I mean, but yeah, this is what that word actually means. And that's why the word can make the world with a turn. If you put a turn L, the word makes the world. Okay. And that's how, like, in the beginning was the word, and the word was God, and so on and so forth. And that word was, in the Sanskrit, it was AEIOUM. Okay. Which was pronounced like this, like okay. Now,
Nice.
then you come to the Egyptian thing, you get Amen. You get like you get all sorts of that things which comes into Christianity, which comes into that thing. The same thing in its small forms, you will find everywhere on earth, in all civilizations. Okay. And in English, all the 5 vowels are there. A, E, I, O, U are the 5 vowels. You will find all of those there. Like, so, the English is English, basically, the language of angles, because that angles are angels. Angles and angels are the same thing,
I got to jump in on that real quick, because I'm so glad you said that. Yeah. I recently read through the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, and whether or not they're 1,000,000 years old, whether they're not a year old, they're really good. And it talks about these serpent archons and these entities that hang out in the angles, and you have to make sure to hang out in like the circles is pretty much what I gathered, based, just to avoid these things, because maybe there's finite points if they're in the angles and stuff. But it's interesting you brought up the angels, the angles, the archons, these entities. So let's get into that.
Yeah, because like that's the theme of the archangels are archangels. Okay, the arcs. Now the science of arcs is astrology. Like, okay, like each arc is like 360-degree divided into 12 signs, or 27 more, or 108 signs, like different arcs you can create out of the 360 degrees. Okay, now that was the science. That's where astrology came in. Okay, now the thing is, that's how there's a design of the universe, and there are these entities which have to take care of. They have their, like, it's like nature, and it's different essences, and it's different aspects. So these beings have these different aspects they're covering. Okay, and the thing is that they are not against human beings. Okay, like the perception is that they are like against us, like that. Like that's what is happening on, like, recently, that some people say Saturn is all bad and Moon is all bad. We're in a Saturn Moon matrix. Saturn is keeping us here, and all this. Saturn is Satan, anyways. There is no. That word Satan came from Saturn.
Yeah, what's your take on all that?
Yeah, my take is that this is all utter nonsense. These beings are like just doing their job, like, which is assigned to them by the creative forces of the universe. They're not doing anything outside of the ordinary or that thing. And if you are stuck here, is because then you don't know how to behave in the higher realms. You don't know what to do. You don't have enough knowledge, and you don't have enough sense to be able to get there. That's all. So if it's your own fault, you can't be pointing fingers at some other entities. And that's what the people who are controlling this earth right now, that's what they want people to do. They want people to take fights with beings with more power than them. And what will be the result of that is that you will suffer from that, and you'll go down, and then they'll keep you slave. Like they can keep you enslaved more. Like, so they want, like, they'll say, yeah, you do that. Yeah, you go ahead and fight these things. You go ahead and have this attitude. It's all fine for them, because the beings who are controlling this place are the old man behind the curtain in the Wizard of Oz. Okay, these beings are like that. They don't have any power. Okay, and now how do you keep all these people in under your enslavement? Is by actually giving them all kinds of wrong advice as to how to go about doing anything. Like that's, that has to be your plan. Like,
you don't.
Yeah.
there's a really interesting book that came out, or at least a combination of books. Okay, it's so funny. I just got to throw this out there. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring to you a podcast later today that shows how the King James Bible that was put together, well, like Cliff Notes, like the version that you have, you can read all the Cliff Notes that these people put together that scratch stuff out. They're like, no, we don't want it to be like that. We want to change it a little bit. And then people burnt people at the stake because of the King James Bible. So please continue.
It's a Planet of the Apes situation. I mean, people, it was a good movie. Because it's absolute, like nothing is known, and the establishment is saying, no, this is all there is, and that's it. Like, like there's so many good movies which came, like Dark City, like, and stuff like, which explained the condition out there. And Dark City also showed a flat Earth model only. Like if you see that film, like, I don't know if you've seen it, but
which one?
Dark City. Yeah, Dark City. If you've not watched it, you should watch it. Okay. It's an Australian made film. Okay, like I don't know if it didn't get much airplay.
That's why I haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
I got you. I'll check it out.
Okay, yeah, you can. The thing with the Vedic thing is that first, it was like if you say how old it is as old as time. Like because the Vedas were made by the creator in the beginning of time when the universe was created. Okay. So how far back it goes as far back as time goes. Simple as that. Okay. After that, transmission is oral transmission, like, and oral means like you hear it, like it's vibration and sound and you hear it and you pass the knowledge on forward. It's like that. Textually, it was put into text only just around 5,000 years ago. Because a situation came to a point where people didn't have enough memory to actually retain all the information or the knowledge without text. Like the intelligence had gone down and the memory had gone down. So that's the only time when it was put into a textual form. Before that, it was always oral. Okay. So how old is it? It is as old as time itself. That's what the Vedic thing is. Okay. So when you're talking about that, there is no like 100,000 years or 200,000 years. It's millions and billions of years. Like there's no time to it, when it was. So according to, there's no time when it wasn't, like, because the first sound of creation.
When were we created? When did it start? Is it timeless? Is there no such thing as time?
Like according to the Vedic thing, it's timeless in the sense there's creation, dissolution, creation, dissolution, creation, dissolution. So it's always timeless. So nothing ever ends. Nothing is ever going to end. So there is no beginning and there's no end. There is a creation, there is a break, and there is a creation again. And then there's dissolution, and then creation happens again. So it just keeps on happening. So there is no that thing. Like it's an endless game as far as the Vedic thing is concerned. Yeah.
So, okay, I want to jump in real quick because I recently saw the cycles and the destinies that are these paintings that are put on many Tibetan temples, and it's called the Bhava Chakra, and it's got the different karma and everything. You know about this more than I do.
Yes.
I brought up earlier. You brought up earlier how you said when people think about space and how small we are in space, that it makes some people feel like they're, they're basically worth nothing. And I say, I think it's the exact opposite, but I can see your point of view. But not also when I look at
not just because
when I look at the Bhava Chakra,
not just because you're small, because you're just rotating around, revolving this merry-go-round.
But we're doing that anyway.
Yeah. Like, merry-go-round, anybody, any kid, even if you are a kid and you go on to merry-go-round, you'll get bored of it. Like, there's only so long you can be on a merry-go-round, right?
Right. But you just made a point though, even that we're in these cycles anyway, which is a merry-go-round.
Yeah. But that is a different kind of thing, that has got verticality to it as well. It's not horizontal. It's got a vertical aspect to it. Okay. This merry-go-round is horizontal. Like it's a more 2D. It's not going up and down. Like, so, there's no movement, vertical movement in this. Anyways, that is another point we'll discuss. You were talking about the Bhav Chakras, the Tibetan things, and that is a part of Vedic thing only. Or like all the Tibetan Buddhism and everything comes from Vedic thing directly. There is no, even their mantras, everything comes from Sanskrit and So there is nothing which is separate in that, actually.
The only reason, okay, the reason I was bringing up the that Baba Kakra though is because when you said earlier about how, you know, kind of your interpretation on space and how large it is and the cycles and stuff, I look at that painting as frightening because it looks like there's this, well, it's this giant demon. It's right. It's Yama, the demon of death, or some call him, there's another name that he was supposedly the demon that tempted Buddha. But he's like eating the whole thing, dude. He's like behind the entire universe. He's like, it's kind of freaky because I saw that thing once, man. I mean, when I told people about this weird experience that I had where I had this, I meant to go out of my body, but I went like internally and I felt like I was in hell. And that's what I thought I freaking saw, dude. It was scary. So I think that's scarier than thinking the universe is.
I mean, but that's it's. I mean, that might be scary. I'm talking about. This is not scary. This is more pointless. I mean, there's a difference between scary and pointless. Okay. I mean, we like that might be scary. Like, I mean, okay. Like, I mean, for example, like, yeah. I mean, and boring and pointless. I mean, scary is better than pointless, right? Like, I mean, I
guess being pointless is even scarier than scary. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Like you get my drift. Okay. The thing is that, like with the yum thing, yeah. Okay. Like after death, I mean, like there are these things which are, like more put different spirits into that thing. You know, like whether you're going to have another birth or you're going to go to another realm, which realm you're going to go to, and all of that is decided, you know, based on how a person has been, what action they are, what level they are. You'll be, I mean, that happens in everything, you know, whatever level you are, accordingly, you get to do the thing, like in anything. Like if you are a lightweight boxer, you go in a lightweight, that thing, you don't go and box with a heavyweight. Like, I mean, there's this common sense in everything. Like that, you know, always, like, I mean, so that common sense has to be there in the universe as a whole, like in anything, you know, like we can't get rid of that. And that's what the Hollywood tries to sell us, is that like you don't have to have that. Like you can suddenly become a mutant X-Men, you know, kind of thing, you know, some mutation will happen and you'll just turn into this thing and you'll have powers, you know, because you're not having any powers actually, really. And but if this something bites you, like a spider bites you, you'll become Spider-Man, or like, I mean, or if you have krypton, like you have Superman, or like, I mean,
go drink some plutonium, man. Radiation's good for you. Just go hang out at Fukushima.
Yeah. I mean, majority of the movies which have come out in the last 20 years, just saying like mutant is good, and you can get powers, special powers, just by having some external thing, and which is they're training the people in absolutely the wrong way, because all the power happens from inside out way, not like that. Okay. I mean, so the Vedic way says like it's always inside out. Okay. You go inside yourself, and that thing, the whole thing is inside you as well. You know, that big man which you saw in the Bhav Chakra thing, you are that actually. Okay. So then it's not so scary, but you have to realize that, and you have to understand that, you have to synthesize that. Okay. So it is so you can get powerful, you can get a lot of power, but it's not going to happen the X-Men mutant way which the Hollywood is selling. Okay. And it's, you don't have to be like, you know, like Darth Vader, like, I mean, he's a half machine and that thing. I mean, the thing with becoming half machine is that your like your DNA is under like that thing. It can never evolve. It's like putting it into a prison. You know, people don't understand like things, little things like that. Like even wearing a watch is harmful for you, let alone like putting chips inside yourself and that thing, and becoming like half android. I mean, becoming Borg. I mean, that is like taking out all the power you have in yourself, in your blood and your DNA, which can make you go evolve and go higher, is diminished by every such thing action you do. Okay. So that is the Vedic point of view to these things, you know, which they won't tell. Like, you know, like they'll say, yeah, it's okay to like, yeah, like microchip, yeah, put it in, like no problems. Like, you know, oh, why have a mobile anyways? Just put a chip into your ears. You can always hear everything. Like you can make phone calls while just walking. And I mean, all of that, like, but there is a price to pay for that, you know, which they won't tell you what the price is for your biology, for your body, for your DNA, for your like evolution. They will not tell you that. Okay. So, I mean, obviously they want to promote anything which brings beings of the power of beings down as a whole. So the moment comes when they are at their transition moment where they're leaving their physical body. They are depleted spirits. So then they'll have to come back again. And so they can recycle them out here as many times as they like, with less and less power. So, I mean, that is their agenda. And you can see that in the movies. And so this is how the Vedic point of view works on watching Hollywood, what they're trying to do actually, like in that way. Yeah. So
I look at a lot of the movies that are out there now, like you say, and it does seem as if they make humans look like they're less than just about anything. And when did this, let's talk about the DNA for a minute, because I feel that our DNA has literally been messed with. I feel that not only from food, from the vaccines, from the medicines, from what they teach you as well, but I also think that maybe a couple 100,000 years ago, or I don't know how long ago, but I think that literally somebody messed with the DNA of most people on the planet, and they're continuing to do so because they realize that we are more than our physical bodies, and that we have more power than they want us to.
I mean, but the human birth is actually a very good birth, okay, in the whole universe, in the whole scheme of things. Okay, first, number one. And human DNA as it is, people don't understand that people are talking about it has been messed with by aliens and stuff so long ago, and this, but they don't understand what they don't understand. It's self-correcting. You can change it any which way. Like right now, like in your life, as right now, you can change it into anything you want. It's a open book. It's not a done thing. It's not like, okay, it's done now, it's messed up. There's nothing like that to it. You can actually change it by your own actions and efforts anytime. You can program it through sound, through meditation, through different things. You can change it into anything you want. Okay. So it's not, what is there is good enough to do anything with, actually. There's nothing missing from the human species or that thing, and like, I don't know, but like I just saw your watch, like that's when, like when you put your watch out here, like, and your like heartbeats and your pulse comes here, your heartbeat, like if you find out, like in the doctors, they use a term called heart rate variability, HRV. Okay. HRV is responsible for your immune system. Okay. And if your HRV is closer to golden ratio, that means you have a perfect immune system. That means you will never fall sick. Okay. Now your watch actually messes up with your heartbeat because it is going on a machine beat. It's machine beat, tick, 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 tick. Okay. Now your heart doesn't beat like that. If your heart was to beat like a machine, you will have actually zero immune system, and you'll die of any disease because you'll have zero immune system, basically, if your heart beat like a clock, actual watch. I mean, so that is the difference between machine and natural organic biorhythm. Okay. So that's why they give everyone watches. Okay. So that will mess up with their heart. And that's where your heart trains your kundalini, your heart trains the heart sonics and train your DNA, actually. So when you say heart of gold, this person has a heart of gold, it means their heart rate variability is tending towards golden ratio, which is phi ratio 1.618 on its second level harmonics. That's what it means, actually. So, I mean, this is the actual real science. This is what should be taught at school. Okay. But this is never going to be taught at school because this empowers people. This tells them what they are and what they can do about it as a human being, right? This is the kind of thing which they will never say, and like in the Vedic thing, the golden ratio was always there. All of these things were there in the Vedic thing. They've always been there. Okay. Now only in sacred geometry, people know about it. And only last 10 years, 15 years, people have come to know that all of nature functions on the basis of golden ratio. Okay. So, I mean, there's nothing to do with Egyptian or Sumerian or any of that. Okay. Like, okay. But this is modern science, like real science, not the fraud science religion, because scientism is a religion. What they made up 400 years ago was a religion. Okay. They just tell you something, you just have to buy it. Like they just tell you like there's nuclear fusion happening on the sun, you just have to buy it. Like you don't know, nobody's gone there. Nobody knows what's happening in the sun, but you have to say like nuclear fusion is happening. I mean, that's a religion. It's blind faith. I mean, we are doing this with that thing. You have to just, oh yeah, we are colliding this with this. This is a God particle or whatever. Like you just have to believe it. Nobody has seen it. Nobody knows. Like in actual practice, I mean, these are unprovable things completely, and the monkeys are still monkeys, but you have to believe that. And that's another way of putting humans down. You came from monkeys. There's nothing special about you. It's again, they're trying to make you feel that like the humans are the shittest shit there is. Like there's nothing powerful about you or nothing. When that's when the Vedic thing says totally the opposite. It's saying totally the opposite, that you have you can raise your kundalini, you can open up your chakras, you can open up your third eye, and that is a great thing. If you open up your third eye, you reach a very high level. You can travel anywhere in the multiverse. And that they villainize that kind of thing in Lord of the Rings. The Eye of Sauron, which is the third eye. Now that is the biggest villain. The people who are just having their like beers and alcohol, they are the heroes. Okay. Or just getting drunk, and that is the good thing, and that is the villain. They're always going to promote that. Like, alcohol doesn't give you anything. Like, I mean, it doesn't give you superpowers. But if you watch Hollywood, you think like everybody, whenever they take a drink, they can go and kill 20 people after that. Like, like when they like, yeah, I mean, so, I mean, these are like, I mean, everybody knows what alcohol does. I mean, it stops your motor nerve functions to function properly. I mean, that's an actual reality. In fact, like in the same way, all the things are going in that particular direction where they are actually selling you everything which is bad for you, which is outside technology, implants, alcohol, drugs, anything from the outside, which actually takes away your potential as a human being and what you already have, the tool, the human body, and what is inside it. Okay, it's hitting at it, but and not telling you that you actually can do everything about it. You can, you are more powerful than sun, you're more powerful than harp, you're more powerful than any of these things, actually. Chemtrails and everything. I mean, these things can't affect you. You have more power than that. Okay. And that's the thing which they're not going to teach. Okay. Because like point is to keep people down, not make them go up. Yeah. That's, and if, the whole truth-seeking movement on internet, like, I mean, it's about empowerment only. Like, I mean, otherwise, why would anyone, I mean, if there's a lie and if there's a truth, the truth has to be about empowerment. I mean, otherwise, it's no truth of any kind, like, so, yeah.
Truth is the absolute, in my opinion, if you can find the truth, that will set you free. And one of the things that I find interesting about these Vedas is, at least what we know about, I'd like to talk about some of these cosmic weapons, because when you read through some of these different weapons, for example, the celestial weapons, they're called the Brahmasastra, the Brahmasastra Astra. Can you describe those to us?
Okay. Brahmastra means, okay, first we have to understand who Brahma is. Okay. Brahma is the creator in the Vedic Trinity. Okay. The same Brahma becomes Abraham. If you take the A of Brahma and put it here, and then all the three Abrahamic religions, Judaism, Islam, and Christianity, all Abrahamic. Okay. Those three come out of that. Like, okay, which is worship of Brahma only, the creator. Okay. Now, the creator created a weapon which, if used like any time, could cause a lot of devastation on any plane, not just Earth. Now you have to understand, we're not talking about Earth here only. On any plane, there are 14 realms of existence. On any plane of existence, it can cause widespread devastation, and much more than a nuclear bomb or whatever they like. I mean, because there's a whole thing about the nuclear thing as well. Like, like in Hiroshima, Nagasaki, they dropped a nuclear bomb and supposedly dropped a nuclear bomb, and like people were still alive. Like many people came out of it alive. With Brahmastra, nobody's going to come out alive. Like, I mean, it's not a thing, like which you come out alive from, like at all. Like there's no way. There's no bunker. There's no that thing. I mean, these people are not even in bunkers. They were outside. Like it means complete annihilation. Complete. Like when it means complete, it means complete. Yeah. Like, yeah. So, yeah.
So when you say the 14 realms and complete destruction, so it sounds like this has been used before.
Yeah, it has been used. I mean, the thing was that like the beings which were given that thing, and Brahmastras also or of different levels. Like different levels means like if somebody uses it in a like a like once there can be a Brahmastra which just takes out New York City. Okay. There can be a Brahmastra which takes out all of United States. There can be a Brahmastra which takes out all of the, what we call this earth right now, all the land. So there are different levels to it as well. Okay. So which level you're using it for is another matter. Okay. So it has been used before, and there's no doubt about that. Like that there's glass in the deserts in Syria, and like fused glass, and so it has been used on earth before as well. So there's no doubt about that. I mean, there is a lot of that thing about that where proof is there. Like, yep.
I would like to know also, can you tell us about the Pashupastra? Did I say that properly?
Pashupati Astra. Pashupati Astra.
Thank you. Yeah.
Now Pashupati is a Shiv, which is again in the Trinity. Their Trinity is Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiv. That is the Trinity. It's not Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Okay, so then Shiv's weapon is Pashupati Astra. Okay, it is more powerful than Brahmastra. It can actually neutralize the Brahmastra. Okay, so if somebody sends a Brahmastra, you can send the Pashupati Astra, and that will stop it from functioning. Yeah.
Does it also have the ability to destroy time as well? And was it given to Arjuna by Shiva?
Yeah. Arjun had a variant of it. Like it has variations. Shiv only keeps the best thing for himself, obviously, the complete thing. I mean, you can actually manipulate time with it. You can manipulate time and space with it. It can do all those things, because Shiv is a more powerful deity than the creator, like Brahma. Okay. In the Vedic thing, Brahma is not the creator is not the main thing. Once it creates, after that, doesn't have the power. Like when things go out of control in the universe, it doesn't have the power to restore them. That's where Shiva and Vishnu come in. And they are the beings who do the work for restoring balance and order. I mean, that's why Brahma was not even worshipped in the Vedic thing. But in the Abrahamic religions, they worship Brahma only. So
what I find interesting is I'm reading about it right now and how it was given by Shiva. And then I look at CERN and how they've got Shiva in the courtyard. And I'm just wondering if there might be some type of connection there. If that actually,
they would wish, like the word, it's a Shiv, it's not Shiva, it's Shiv, just Shiv. Okay. And Shiv, and the word wish comes from that. How you wish, wish. I mean, CERN would wish they had the Shiv kind of power. Like they're wishing and hoping for it. Okay. But it doesn't.
You don't think CERN has that ability?
No, they don't have anything, because I mean, the Shiv's power is a third eye power. Okay. His main thing is the third eye. All of his weapon, everything comes from the ability of the third eye. Okay. Now, like CERN doesn't have any such thing. Even the Shiv's dance, like they have the Nataraj. The CERN has the Nataraj, like the dancing Shiv image out there, which is again like dance of time actually, but like CERN have not been able to plug any hole into time at all, because they're going about it completely the wrong way. It doesn't happen by making these tunnels and like accelerating particles. It doesn't happen like that at all. Nothing happens like that. That's why there's been no effect. And they put it in Switzerland and stuff and if they knew that, and Switzerland is, where they have the banks and stuff. If they thought it was dangerous in any ways, they would not put it in Switzerland. They would put it in somewhere in Africa, right? Like, I mean, if you think about it, if they actually thought it was they're going to do something, or like it has any potential of any hazard of any kind, they would not put it in Switzerland.
So do you think then the only reason that it's there is to find the God particle, to smash particles and look for I guess you could say, the building blocks of what we...
Yeah, I mean, they're not finding anything. I mean, to be really fair, like they're not doing anything. Like they're not even like a blind man, like going through a dark room. Like, I mean, it's worse than that, the situation. Okay. I mean, I mean, like I told you, people don't know. I mean, all the so-called scientists and that thing. I mean, these people are just people. Okay, they don't know anything really. Okay, I mean, it's just like people think like, oh yeah, these people must know something. Oh, they are this, like there's this scientist, or he's out there. Like there's nothing like that. You know, it's just a thing. Image people. It's the same Wizard of Oz movie all over again. You know, it's like that man behind the curtain, like, you know, which is like appears to have all these powers, but it doesn't. It's nothing. Like, it's just running a puppet show, nothing else. Like, yeah. And I think that everybody has seen that movie. They make sure that everybody sees that film in the West, isn't it? Like when you're kids and stuff, they make everyone watch it. Like, you know, like.
Oh, the programming here in the West is pretty powerful. You know, it certainly is. And I think it's interesting kind of how you're bringing up a different perspective and certainly making a good debate nonetheless, even for people that don't necessarily agree with that. I think it might bring a different perspective. And I find it fascinating as far as the way you're connecting words. I mean, just spot on, man. I mean, I can tell that you have actually found like that root key, I guess you could call it, to break down words and prophecies and scriptures and ancient texts. You do that very well, and I applaud you for that. What I would like to know also is, and I've got some user questions that I'd like to ask you towards the end of the program, if that's okay, but tell us more about these, like the Vedic, let's get into the Vedic astrology for a minute and talk about how that is so accurate, because Heidi Vandenberg has done my chart before, and it was scary how accurate she was. And she's done other people's, and I mean, obviously she gets her info, like, she's learned a lot from you. I mean, she praises you. So obviously you're a pioneer in that. And how does it work?
I mean, it works on the same angles. Okay. Like everything has energy, right? So, I mean, and if you know the energy, what each arc has, what energy, which are called archons now in the West. Okay. Like if you know which archon is what energy, and exactly then, and then you have certain, when you are born, there is certain, like these grahas are there in the sky, and they are in these specific quadrants, and their specific energies they are transmitting. Then, you know, if you make the sum total of this energy, then you come to know about a person, basically. You know, it's like just adding up energies. Okay. And you know what individual energy is. And that's what the Vedic texts had. Like they always treat everything as energy. And I mean, first thing is there are no villains in the West, in the Vedic thing. There are no villains. Okay. I mean, in the West, there's a big habit of turning everybody into villains, or this is the good side, bad side. That's like, you know, only in the Star Wars, they got out of that. And they said there's just force. Okay. Okay. I mean, Siths have force. The Jedis have force. Whoever has force wins. Like, okay. I mean, it's not a matter of like villains or that thing. I mean, it's about power and force, and actually knowing what energy is and what these energies are, which is called Shakti, you know, in Sanskrit, in Vedic. So like each different, like asterisms have their own Shakti, and different things have their Shakti and energy. And if you know that energy, then you know how it's going to act, how it works. You know, just like if you know a certain car, you know how that car works, you know, and how fast it can go, how does it do on a turn, you know, like what are its the specifications, what are its that things, you know. It's the same way. Like it's like if you have a system which is very clear about the cosmic energies and the universal energies, and knows each arcs very properly, that's where the magic comes from. That's where the accuracy comes from knowing that accurately, you know. So it's just like if an engineer will know something accurately, then it will be able to do that, like, and then people will think it's like magic, like, you know, just because it knows which capacitor goes where, which resistor goes where, what value of the resistor should be there, what capacitor value should be there, and it's like magic to other people, like so I mean, yeah.
So you're taking the energy of, this is incredible, by the way, you're taking the energies, the vortexes of like these. Describe this for somebody that's just tuning in, like how the stars, where they're aligned, connect with the what are they called, the Nagasatras or something like that, the
Nakshatras.
It's a system that you it's what you would pioneer.
Because nakshatras, because in the West, like astrology was like confined to the 12 signs. Everyone just was given a 12 signs, and everybody knows that. Okay, now you're broken 360 degree into 12 signs. That is like 30 degrees each. Okay, now like there was more breaking up. because they were like there were portals which are part of it, which were 27 portals. You divide 360 into 27, so you get 13 degree 20 minutes per portal. Okay, now you divide those portals into 4 times again, so then you are dividing it into 3 degrees 20 minutes. So, and then you have 100 portions of it, so you're dividing into 108 arc. Now if you know the energy of each arc, 108 of these properly, and if a planet like a Venus or Saturn is sitting in it, and then you know the energy of what Venus is, and you know the energy of that, then you add the two together and you'll get the thing what is going to happen, okay, from that. So it's a simple case of like addition, just like which happens in anything like technical, or I mean, it's a simple thing, but it's just like knowing that energy. Okay. And the thing is that in the Vedic thing, it's very clear that everything is designed in the same way. If we have stars, all the star systems out there, we see from the eyes, the same things are inside your body, from the head to toe. Okay. So those energies are functioning inside you as well, and they are there outside. As inside, so outside. It's like everything is like a fractal in the universe. Like everything is a fractal. Okay. And now the fractal concept has come into the science only, like in the mainstream science, it's still not there. But in the people who are doing actual science, they know that the whole universe is a fractal. Okay. And you from the smallest to the biggest, it's a matter of it's not a matter of size. It's a matter of ratio, and it's a matter of fractality. Okay. Like if your heart has fractality and stuff, and if you make a sound, any sound, and you'll make a rainbow happen. Like I play music and stuff, right? If I play some music, if I want, I can make a rainbow happen in the sky. I'm not using any technology to do that. I mean, if I want, I can make a thunderstorm happen, lightning storm. If I want, I can make rain happen. I mean, so it is a matter of your intent and your attunement to the fractality which is there in the universe. Okay. So like the whole thing is a fractal. The stars are just part of a fractal, which is there inside you. I mean, that's why if a particular Aries asterism is there, okay, some asterism is there in the sky. Now that relates to your head. So if there is a disturbance in that, or a planet or something disturbance in that, then it causes you headache in your body inside. So what you'll feel like headache, so you can say like, oh, this person is having a headache. Okay, because this particular energy was there in birth like that, chart like that, and it's transiting like this now. So it's experiencing that. Okay. Now, there are ways you can take away that headache if you know that energy and how to manipulate it and change it. Okay. So that's real science. Okay. So that's why like Jyotish was considered a science. Like everything is a science in Vedic things. It's not a matter of believing or thing, like it actually knowing something for real. Like, so that's the whole point. And like a lot of the, like what I will call like non-mainstream science, real science is getting towards that point, with the knowledge of sacred geometry, golden ratio, fractality, towards what Vedic was saying in the first place. All these things are moving in that direction anyways. To me, as all these things increase, you will find that all of this knowledge will come together, and it'll be like the real truth, and it'll be factual, and anybody can see it in action. Like you were able to see that your chart, Heidi was able to tell about you in action. Okay, like that kind of thing. Or like on my channel, I've got like 900 plus films, like where I make rain happen or rainbows happen or anything like that.
Can we take a quick time out so you can tell the audience that's listening your YouTube channel, please?
Yeah, like my YouTube channel is youtube.com LotusOcean. LotusOcean.
Thank you. There's a lot of people asking. So, all right. Yeah, this is great. Please continue.
Yeah. Okay. So the thing is that like, I mean, I'm doing this kind of experiments like in front of people live, so that like I'm a human being. I've got flesh, blood, everything, I've got everything the same, and I can do it, and I can show it, and I'm not mutated, and I'm not I'm not becoming an X-Men. Okay. And I'm not like, I mean, I'm just saying
You're
like
not a level 3 mutant.
Yeah. No, I mean, nothing like that. I mean, but my point is that these things can be done, and actually by just knowing what is what, and by following the like energies basically of this multiverse. Like there are energies, and you can, if you go according to that, and the laws, and that's what gives you power, because there are laws of the multiverse, and there are laws of what people make out here. Like people follow the laws of here, like they'll drive in the right in America, and they'll drive in the left in Europe, in England, they'll follow these rules. We like country rules, like this country has this rule, that country has that rule, like whatever rules they are, people follow that just so that they don't get into trouble, right? Why do they follow that? So they don't get into trouble, right? Like that's why they do it, But the thing is, if you follow the multiversal laws, you will not get into trouble anyways. I mean, that is big trouble. All this country thing, like if you follow, not follow, is little trouble. Okay. But if you're not following that, you're causing much more bigger trouble for yourself. And people don't have this understanding, like that is more important than following these things out there, because they seem very important right now. Okay, if I don't do that, yeah, like if I don't pay the rent, like this person is going to throw me out. Okay, or you feel these, things out there. But you don't understand that your life here is very short. Like even if you live for 100 years, is very short. Okay, then when you take this physical body off, which is just like a cloth, because you have many bodies inside this. According to Vedic, you have many more bodies inside this, like Russian dolls. There's one doll inside the another doll inside it. So when you come out, when the physical body goes, you'll still come out like the same person you are. Like if you're Rex, and you'll come out as Rex. And you can still feel. Even in that body, you'll be able to feel pain and pleasure and everything. Even though when your physical body is gone, you'll be able to, your mind will be the same, your emotions will be the same, your understandings will be the same. Nothing will change at the moment of death. Okay. So when you transition, like there's nothing changes actually, according to the Vedic thing. So like.
Could I ask you a question about that?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
So I recently picked up a copy of the Tibetan Book of the Dead. Yeah. And I don't know how this compares to the Veda stuff, how much older those are, if this is derived from that.
This is derived. This is a derivation. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And it talks about the 6 different cycles. You've got the God cycle, the demigod cycle, the human cycle, the animal cycle, the wandering ghost cycle, and then hell cycle.
Yes.
Can you talk to us about that?
The first is like, the differences out here is just a matter of time, actually. Time is like this, like one day of the demigods, one day is like 100 years of human, that thing. But if you go higher than the demigods, the Rishi level and stuff, then their one day would be like 1,000 years here. Okay. Like if you go to Brahma level, then one day of Brahma would be 100,000 years out there. So like the time is changing in that way. Like that's all. That's what that's what these things are like. There's a difference in time. Even if entities, for example, right now, there are entities out there, like in your room where you're sitting, they can be entities sitting out there, but you can't see them because your vision is in the like a visible frequency range only. For example, the Wi-Fi signal out there, you can't see the Wi-Fi signal. In a radio, you can't see the radio signal, but the radio signal is there because the radio plays.
I've got to ask you another question. Yeah. Because you brought up the Wi-Fi, and I was going to bring it up earlier. This is perfect time, and I apologize to interrupt, but the Wi-Fi now, it's one thing to have Wi-Fi. It's another thing to be next door to 15 different cell phone towers that are disguised as cactuses or palm trees or crosses at a church that are blasting high frequency energy. Now, the Schumann resonance, I think, is approximately 7.83. And some of these towers are pushing 50 to 80 billion hertz in very directed beams towards people's brains. Literally. They're all over the place. Oh, great. I got quick download speed. What does that do to the body? Is that just another form of these sickos? Obviously, yes, you get better download speeds, but at the same time,
I'll tell you with that thing. All those energies cannot affect you negatively. They're just energies. First understand, like they're just energies. They're not negative energies. Okay. Like when you have a radio wave by itself is not harmful. Okay. Now radio wave is a carrier wave. It carries other things on top of it. Like right now, like digital signals or analog signals can be put on top of it. Now, if an analog signal is put on top of a radio wave, then you can utilize it better. It's better for the human body. If a digital signal is there, then it is more not so good. Okay. But even that can be utilized because you can, I don't know, like if you know about digital to analog converters, they're called DACs. Okay. Like you can convert digital into analog. Okay. Back. Okay. So like your body can do the same. Your body can convert anything they throw at you into something better for itself. It actually has the power to do that. Okay. It is all systems in one, your body. It is a DAC, it is everything. It's, yeah. So people don't understand that human body, once you train it and once you understand its potential, it's much more of it is much more sophisticated machine than all of the machines on this earth put together.
I would have to agree with that, because if anybody picks up a copy of where is it? Initiation into Hermetics right here, this book by Franz Barden, where he talks about mind powers and like what you're talking about. This guy loves the Vedic and the Vedas, and essentially, like you said, your mind, if you can change the weather with your mind, then you can harp back to themselves. You can take that 50 billion, gillion, quadrillion megahertz machine and turn it into Barney rubble and eat Barney rubble for lunch.
I'm ready to do that thing. I'm ready to do a face off with harp. Okay. Like harp says that we're going to make this happen, and I'm going to say this will happen. Like, we'll see what happens. Whether what I say happens or what harp says happens. Like there's no that thing. Like I'm ready to do a face off with it. I mean, so that like people stop harping about. It's like harping about harp.
On.
Like people keep on harping on about harp. Like it's so it can control it. It's doing that, or like some earthquake. Oh, it's done by harp. Like I mean, it's just so crazy to hear. Like I mean, it's just giving things so much, that thing which don't have actually any real power. Like just like it's just like I mean, it's the same thing. It's like saying like, oh, this is the president of this country, or this is so it has power. Like I mean, these people are pawns. They have no power whatsoever, like of any kind. I mean, like it's. I mean, people are just, it's in everything. It's with harp. And that's why it's called, in English, the word harping is there. Keep on harping about something, and that's yeah. I mean, and it's funny they use these words, harp, like concern, like it's to have people concerned, like that's what they want. They want you concerned. They want people to be all afraid and all that thing. Oh, like, oh, sun will do something. Like, what is going to happen? The world is going to end on 23rd September or something like that. Like, because sun is going to do this, and like nothing's going to happen. I mean, and there are millions of channels on YouTube which are saying these things now. Like, I mean, so I thought like at least one time I should come and say like nothing is happening like from any of these things.
How do you explain the eclipse in the flat Earth model?
I mean, there are nodal points called Rahu and Ketu, which are not utilized in this model, like this globe model, like which are there in the sky as well, which are responsible for the eclipses. They're called the nodal points, like Rahu and Ketu. They're separate bodies, and they are bodies which you can't see by your naked eye. They only become visible when they come in front of sun and moon, And like even on the moon, like when the blood moon happens, it's like a lens has come on. It's not a shadow. It's like a more lens has come on, like which can make something. So it's more like a lens sort of thing. Like, yeah. So.
And you were also saying that some of these Vedas that go, predate anything, that are really from the beginning of time.
Yeah.
When you take multiple religions and also just even science, you're saying a lot of astrology was also kind of stolen from the Vedas as well. So do you feel that you can't go to other planets, or do you feel that it's kind of like this? We're in this holographic.
We can go to other planets, but we can go to other planets, but those planets are different planes. When you say planet, it means plane. Plane crossing. Plane with
potato, potato?
Plane with a T. Plane with a T. What is a T junction? If you go to a T junction, you can go left or you can go right.
Okay.
Okay. In this case, it's up or down. Okay. Like that's what a T junction is, isn't it? Like when you have a T junction, you come on a car and you can go this side or that side. Like that's all you can do at a T junction, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's what planet is, plane and then T, plane crossing. Okay. Now, like you are in this plane, you can go to another plane, or you can go to plane below, plane above. You can do all these crossings, and that's a different world, and it's better than a planet. It's better than a physical planet, which they would go to in Star Wars, in Star Trek. It got boring for them even. I mean, that's why they couldn't make many episodes in the Star Trek also, because I mean, it was.
Hey, take it easy on Star
They
Wars.
could come up with many things. I mean, the differences were not so much. Like, how much difference can you create within the whole like 3D world and that kind of game? And you can't create much difference, but within a plane, you can create a lot of difference, actually.
So you don't think, like, do you think that we could get on a rocket and blast off to Mars tomorrow?
No, Mars is not nothing you can stand on. It's not physical.
Now,
Hey,
you know what? After I saw the freaking rover, after I stuck up for NASA for so long, and after I saw those turkeys like recording stuff on Devon Island out there by Greenland, where you could clearly see this little rodent running around, like, man, you got Daredevil, dude. You're looking at clouds.
Rex, they made 2001 A Space Odyssey before they did the moon landing hoax. Okay. They do the practice run before, always. It's always been, Kubrick was involved in that, and Kubrick was involved in the moon landing. This is always studio stuff. I'm telling you, like, in The Wizard of Oz, they're trying to tell you very clearly that we are just doing everything a hoax. Everything is just a play, like, for you. Like, it's a television show. And that's all it is. It's nothing more than that. You can call it reality TV, but it's coming from a studio. Like, that's it. This is just like, they are taking people the wrong way completely. Like, you're going to moon or Mars, like that. You don't go like that. When you travel is when you die. That's when you travel. Actually, without the physical body, that's when you actually travel. And they want to keep people's mind away from that. Like, how to die successfully, how to have your body in that thing so you can go to higher planes, or you can go to any plane where you want, how to prepare yourself for that. Like, they're not going to teach you any of those things. They would rather have you like pay money to fund this thing. Rockets, you've seen the rockets. They don't even go. They say, like, to get out of Earth, I'm talking about from their science, it needs 11.2 kilometers per second to get out of Earth's gravity. That's the escape velocity you require. Okay. Now, if a rocket goes at 11.2 kilometers per second, then if it starts from Florida, wherever they take it out from, within 2 seconds, it should be 23 kilometers, which is like around 15 miles. Okay. From your eye, in 2 seconds, it should be 15 miles up. When you see these rockets going up, they go like slow, like they go slower than like they're crawling up, like slowly, like, it's not going at any velocity. And then it starts turning towards that thing. Then that's why they put them on the seashore. They fire these rockets from seashore because they're going to go into the sea. It's very clear. These rockets are not going up. They're not going at 23 kilometers in 2 seconds. They're not doing any such thing. Even by their own mathematics and everything, they're not going by that. It's a sham. Like, it's a complete sham. There is no doubt about it. Like, if a person uses any common sense and looks at these things and looks at the calculations, you'll find that they're not going by their own calculations even in any of these things.
Certainly, as far as the one thing that I found interesting also is recently there was some video footage from the Elon Musk SpaceX rocket. There was a camera on the front and a camera on the back of the rocket. When they showed the film, when they saw the image on the back of the rocket, the Earth, you could see, well, it was round. And then there's a clip that was from the front of the rocket, and the Earth it didn't look round anymore.
It depends on the camera. If you have a fisheye lens, you can make
exactly.
Anything. If you have a fisheye lens, you can make anything round.
Exactly.
There's no. Now people are sending up like balloons and stuff, and every time they send up a balloon, horizon is always flat. Horizon is always flat. I'm
going to shoot a balloon up there, man, because I want to know for myself. I still feel the Earth's a globe, and I want to prove it one way or the other. So maybe. I wonder how much money it would cost to build something that could either...
You can associate with other people. Like, there's so many people who are doing this now. You don't have to do it yourself. You can even associate with them, and you can join their project and do it, because there's thousands and thousands of people doing this now. So, Rex, you can just join up with any group. In America also, there are many groups who are doing this now. So it's not that thing. This is going to happen. Like, within a year or two, like many more people will know that Earth is flat. This number is going to increase exponentially. It's because all the tests are being done, everything is being done, and like, it's proving, every result is coming out. There's not a single result which is coming in favor of the ball. And I look, there are too many inconsistencies which they have themselves. like in their own model. Like, I mean, these people were all sun worshippers and stuff, like, so they put the sun in the center and made a heliocentric model. It was nothing to do with actual reality or fact. If sun is your deity, you're worshipping that, then you will make the sun the center. If some people are moon worshippers, they'll make moon the center and make everything go around that. I mean, like, this was sun worshipping cults. Even Newton, all of these people, Galileo, they were all part of sun worshipping cult, and which is what, like, even the church was like, because that's what the whole Jesus with the 12 disciples means, that sun with the 12 signs, the cross, the 4 seasons, the whole sun thing. And people in syncretism have proved it, that the sun thing is the same as the Jesus thing. And the name comes from Zeus, which is Jupiter, Zeus, which became Jesus. Like, so, I mean, it's the planets. I mean, like, it's always the planet, sun, Jupiter, Saturn. Like, like Islam, like, people are worshipping the black cube in Mecca. Black cube is Saturn, nothing else. I
want to make a comment on what you just said there real quick, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but people that worship different planets and different energies and different suns or whatever, well, that does have an impact on them. I mean, so if you're worshiping a specific frequency, well, you are usurping up that energy, and that energy is connecting to you, like this quantum. Here's one thing that blows my mind, and if it doesn't blow your mind, ladies and gentlemen, then wow. Like, the fact that we're here, but we're not really here. Like, the fact that this table feels physical, I'm sitting on a chair, and it's just a bunch of vibrations oscillating in different frequencies, and it's really hollow. And then you look at the double slit experiment, where you look at matter and what happens. Well, you actually co-create, whether it's a frequency, whether it's a wave, or whether it's a particle. And then you try and grab that particle, and it pops in and out of existence. So, like,
it means it's aware, because the particle is aware of you. Like, it's not like it's aware of the observer. What comes out from that is it's aware of the observer. Everything is conscious and intelligent. There's intelligence there. You are thinking that you're dealing with something non-intelligent. You're not dealing with consciousness. You're not dealing with something. You're dealing with something which is conscious.
I get it. Even a rock that's sitting there has a consciousness, because it's moving.
Everything has consciousness. Like,
everything,
but this science religion which they have created doesn't. It refuses to accept that things have consciousness. That's its very basis of this religion they created. Okay, it was a religion only. Like, scientism is also religion. Okay, but like Jim saying, and the word science came from, again, psi, which is cutting up of essences. And cutting up of essences. Okay, that's all science means. Okay, and which is the same thing which I told you. Like, if you know the energies of different things, that's what you need to know. That's all. That's real science. Okay, even sacred geometry is much more of a real science than anything they teach at school. Like, if you know dodeca to icosa transformation, you know more than anything which any professor knows in any university. Okay, like, this whole consciousness thing. I mean, whatever that experiment they've done, it all shows that there is consciousness. Nothing is just like dead, and for you to play around with. Like, which you can just, like, that thing, or experiment on, or something like that. Like, everything has consciousness. Like, so.
And that's one thing I feel about space as well, is space gives us perception that we are separated. That gives us, like you said, we see 0.01% of the electromagnetic light spectrum with our physical eyes.
Yeah.
And man, I got to ask, I know in theory, how to do it. I've never actually attempted to make it rain. I'm sure if I focused enough intent, I could, but how do you do it?
I mean, the thing was, I went by the Vedic way. In the Vedic way, I raised my Kundalini when I was 18, 19 years old. And I'd opened up my third eye by the time I was 20. Okay. So my knowledge comes from this internal work. See, I never believed in any kind of external work. I only believed in internal work on myself. Okay. And that's what the Vedic thing tells you, that that's the way to go. Okay. Inside out. Okay. So I did all of that. And after that, like, whether I got the knowledge of I can tell what is what, and that is coming from opening up the third eye and everything like that. So you're doing this kind of work first on yourself, on your being. And then the knowledge or the effects and what you can do follows after that. Okay. That comes second. It's not like you can do that first and the other thing second. That's not how it works. Okay. So that focus, intent, like the centering, and how to do that is there in the Vedic thing only. Like if you go into the Egyptian thing, no matter how much you go into it, like you can go into Osiris, Horus, like anything, Anubis, anything, but you'll never come to know how to actually raise your Kundalini from the Egyptian thing, or the Hebrew thing, or any of the Middle East things, or any of these things, or the Mayan thing, or the Aztec thing, like anything, like yeah.
I was looking for it as you said that. I was looking for the Papyrus of Ani, and where the dude in the sarcophagus is definitely getting his Kundalini going on. It's the Book of the Dead. I'm joking around here, but it's the Book of the Dead, and there's this one rite where this guy that's mummified, I don't know if he's dead yet or if he's dying, but one of his fluffers is actually giving him a blowjob as he's going to the other side.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, but that's not the way to do that. Like, I mean, that's not the way to raise Kundalini.
They call it the opening mouth ceremony. The Egyptians did.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you will find a lot of things like that in different things. I mean, even in Mayans and Aztecs, you can find a lot of things like that. But the thing is that like actual that things of how to go about doing it, and that kind of thing is like the mantric thing, the yantric thing, the tantric thing, yantra, mantra, tantra, like is not there anyway. I mean, I have not found it. Like, I mean, it's not like
that came after. Like when you look at those old Tibetan temples that have like a bunch of people having orgies and stuff like that, that wasn't back originally. That was something that
that is all last 5,000 years. Everything like that is 5,000 years. Last 5,000 years. Okay. Now the real knowledge comes before 5,000 years. Like we have to have a cutoff, like this 5,000 year cutoff, like for everything. Okay. And there's a lot of nonsense which has happened in the last 5,000 years as a whole, everywhere, like now India is not Vedic. India, like where the Vedic thing is not a Vedic thing. I mean, India is 180-degree opposite of Vedic. Okay. So it's not like if you are at different places, like, like everyone has gone away from it in the last 5,000 years. Okay. So everything is lost, like in different places, like, so, I mean, like even the Nordics would know more 5,000 years ago than they know right now. It's all fuzzy and hey. Thankfully, the Vedic things, like there is much more knowledge and text available compared to anything else. Like it's still, despite all the deterioration and all of the nonsense which has happened in the last 5,000 years,
The reason I made that goofy comment about the Book of the Dead and you brought up the Kundalini, I mean, there was a rhyme to my reason there. What were they thinking that was taking them, or taking that? Did he feel that was going to take his Kundalini, into Godhead, so he was going to be able to blast off into the netherworld better?
I mean, but the thing is, the Kundalini thing is nothing which is done when you're just about to die. Like, I mean, first thing, nothing is not. I mean, it's something.
No, sure. Explain it. What is it? I mean, what is the Kundalini?
Kundalini is like you're like, basically it's your like you can just think of it as consciousness, like a part of like your consciousness which you have not accessed, like like you are using, let's say, like 5% of your consciousness. Okay, in whatever you do, you function, you speak, you learn, you come to know rules of society, you function within them, you do this job, you do whatever, you do all these things. But that only requires 5% of your consciousness to do all of that, not more than that. Okay. So you can just think that there's a 95% which is sleeping. Okay. Okay. Now you have to awaken that 95%. And you have to raise it up your spine from the bottom of the spine up to the top of your head, So where it actually becomes your consciousness, so that you're working from that 100% consciousness. Okay. So that's the best way I can put it to you, like what it is. Okay. Yeah. Because how people function right now on earth as human beings, that doesn't require much consciousness at all. Okay. Like
let's say the average human's using about 3% maybe on a good day.
Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Something like that.
Give me some brains and some genetically modified E. coli feces, and let's go watch that dude play basketball, making $20 million a year. Yeah.
Yeah, then you're reducing the percentages there, like you're reducing the percentages.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing with, like, the thing is, like in the Vedic thing, there are some basics and stuff, like, I mean, there are no basics in the West, okay, because I mean, whether like you're treating your body like electrical equipment, you're not, because nobody's grounding. Nobody grounds in the West. Okay. Like usually, okay. You're always like doing everything which is wrong for your body. You're not centering your speech. The postures are all wrong. You're putting, and I mean, like whatever the body requires for the Kundalini and this consciousness to wake up, the things which are the basic things which are required are just not there. The diet, everything, the distractions, there's too much nonsense. I mean, even this truth-seeking thing has become a distraction rather than actual truth-seeking now. From my perspective, from where I see it. Okay, like people are just getting like entangled in this, like, okay, yeah, this is that, this is, I mean, and people are just going on like, and they're going crazy. I mean, I see people are going crazy. I mean, they're not getting more evolved. They're actually losing their mind. Like, they're becoming more insane when you should become more sane. If you're coming to know more truth, the more sanity you should have. You know, you shouldn't become more insane as you like that thing. I mean, people are getting like so it's becoming a lunatic fringe. You know, like whenever people are going into any of the things, like people are getting more and more that thing, you know, like, oh, this is what's going to happen, like this, and so much misinformation is there, and it boggles their head because it's so much of it is pushed out every day, like 95% of it, in fact. So I mean, the only way to like discern from all of that is actually to go and do basics properly. I mean, that there's no way to like be ungrounded, you know, and achieve any kind of coherence. Coherence is the word. In English, that's the word which is most important. Coherence. Everything has to be coherent. Okay. Like, I mean, I can't think of a better word like in that language. Like, so yeah.
Why do you feel that people are so like they feel like they have to have this archetypal system? Do you think that it's just been that way from the beginning of creation, that there's the apex of the pyramid, the apex of somebody's life, the apex of striving? It just seems as if people are so, okay, we must have a king and we must have a queen. I mean, people, there's one thing I like about Leak Project is most people that listen to Leak Project think for themselves. You know, that they don't need somebody to govern them and tell them where to go and what to do. They're free thinkers and they're independent. But it just seems as if the masses, people are so zombified. People are literally, I truly feel people are like 2 IQ points away from being zombies. Like they could snap that easy and just start chewing on people's brains and stuff.
I mean, that's what's called a Borg state. You know, like in Star Wars, that's called Borg. Like it's the Borg state.
We are the Borg.
That's what it is. Like, I mean, and that's what because the problem is that like the people who are controlling the affairs right now on Earth, okay, they are at such a low level that they have to keep people lower than them. For example, if you're George Bush and you have to keep people lower than you, like if you're at that level, you know, like it's very tough. You know, you have to keep them at a zombie Borg level only. There is, I mean, you know, it's a very low level in the first place. Like if you want something below that, then it's hardly be able to function. Like, you know, like I mean that's what's happening. Big, and it's all because of these people. And the thing is that people lost touch with the actual, you know, things, the sciences and the real knowledge, you know, and then they like this striving wasn't there the whole time. Like right now, since the internet has come and stuff, this striving has come, at least in people. Like people want to know and people want to at least that thing. I mean, like 100 years ago, like, I mean, people are in their village, whatever, like nobody's even caring. Like only there are certain people who are in the know and stuff a little bit, and that's it. Like, you know, that's how it was. So, I mean, right now there's that thing that people want to know with the internet and stuff. That's why it's a good thing which is happening like right now. Like it's something positive. Like, but there is a thing called basics which have to strive. Like people are, you can't ignore the basics, and the West, especially American stuff, like they don't want to do basics. Nobody likes that. Okay, I mean that's everybody likes to just like jump on the next thing, like, you know, immediately. Like, you know, it's fun. Like it's like it peps you up, like, you know, coming to know some new story. Oh, this happened. Oh, maybe what happened? Did you find a base in Antarctica? Maybe they found aliens in Antarctica. Maybe there were some giants there which were coming out of this ice right now, or something is happening. Like, you know, like there's always some like something like that there to like distract people, like, or if there are giants there, or like people are, I mean, if there are giants there, so what? I mean, it's fine. If there are people 20 feet tall people, so what? It's okay. Like, what's the big deal? Like, if they're 20 feet tall people, like, I mean,
I'd hang out with them if they were nice to me. I'd just be ready to run really quick if they were getting hungry or something, and I didn't have anything to offer them for food except for myself. But
but like, but it's not a big problem. Like, where you're sitting, I mean, you're not bothered about 20 feet people, like, just walking around, right? I mean, like, it's not
watching basketball. There's a bunch of 10-foot people. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah. I mean, whatever, Rex. You're getting the point. Yeah. I mean, I think like West is going in that direction. They've moved towards Egypt. They've gone to Sumeria. Now the Vedic thing is coming. It's gonna come. Like, they'll reach there. They're headed towards that direction. At some point they will reach there. Okay, because I mean, I think like when the West first came to India and that thing, like when Vasco da Gama first came in 1450s or 1492, whenever he came to India, I mean, they should have learned something about like agriculture and food and things like that from a culture which was doing that for thousands of years. I mean, that was a big mistake, not learning anything like that at that time. And it has costed people a lot. I mean, only the hippies in 60s started doing that again. So like West missed out on all of that for 400 years. Okay. And then the hippies started that thing again, and then it died down again and whatever, like, like it didn't really reach its, like, where it should have reached. Like, so maybe now because like all the knowledge is spreading and internet is there, and nobody can claim ignorance now in this world now because of net. Like, I mean, like, I didn't know, like, I mean, like,
it's amazing how many repeaters there still are, though. They won't research, they'll just repeat. They'll read a title on an internet conspiracy forum and think that they have the answer to the world solved right there. And then they'll come up with, and they'll be, hey, look, man, green aliens come from Uranus, and then they shapeshift with Bobby Joe, and it's crazy, dude. You should see it because they come from the planet Reticuli.
That's I mean, that's the thing which these people use. They know there's one thing called ego, which ego of knowing, which they use to indoctrinate people in the first place. They know that, like, if you tell people, send people to school, and then you give them all this false info, then it creates a false sense of knowing, because ego is nothing except false sense of knowing. There's no special entity called ego. Like, ego is just like a being's false sense of knowing. That's all it is. Okay. Like, if you put it into a ball, all the false sense of knowing they have got into one ball, that will be ego, nothing else. Okay. So, I mean, so these people are functioning from, but like when you go by that, you actually face the music. If you're going to live by that, you're going to actually face the music for it. Those people who are like that, they will face the music for it. Nobody else will, so, and then when they face the consequences, then they will have to learn. Everybody at some point, because being that way will only lead you to pain and torture. Hell is nothing but pain and torture, right? Okay. Like, I mean, like, hell is just a word for that. But like, the point is, like, this kind of like ignorant way of being will lead you to pain and torture. It's a simple thing in this multiverse. And the more like strongly you hold on to it, the more pain and torture you'll face. And if you can handle it, it's like if you can handle it, how long can you handle it? Like, I mean, you can handle it for some time, but nobody can handle it forever, or like, so at some point they will have to give up this ego, or like this sort of stubbornness, or putting the head into the sand, like, like ostrich puts its head into the sand, like, with no good results here. Like, yeah.
I know the ostrich syndrome. That's 99% of the population, indeed. Yeah. Now, let me ask you this, though, because I personally feel that I have seen some off-worldly entities before, whether you want to call them interdimensional, outer dimensional, whatever, but they weren't human. And the best way for me to describe it was they looked like mantis dudes, like giant mantis bees. Not even giants, because they weren't that tall, but as far as what a regular size mantis is, yeah, they'd be considered giant mantises. Yeah, but they were, I wouldn't even say they were 6 feet tall. But where is there anything in connection to what those are and some of these?
I mean, first thing you have to understand about those entities can make themselves look like anything they want you to see first. So if you're seeing them in a certain form, doesn't mean that that's their form. Okay. Like, number one. Okay. And the fact that you're seeing those entities puts an end to all of this the paradigm which this false science has given for last 400 years. The fact that you've been seeing them, it tilts the balance more in favor of the realms rather than the Star Trek nonsense. I mean, see, because you have not seen Mars, you're not been to moon, you're not seen space. Okay, like you have not seen these things. Like you're not gone there. Like, but you have seen these things, entities. So, which again, from your own personal experience, tilts the balance more in the side of the planes and realms rather than this model, what we began the talk with, So, and as far as these entities are concerned, you have to, one thing you have to remember is that if they're showing themselves in a form, like there are things called jinns, for example. I don't know if you know about jinns.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do. 100%. And hey, you know what I remember once, just for, I guess, it could have been a dream, guys. It could have been a dream, just a conspiracy. I was seeing.
Yeah. So, the jinn thing is like, I mean, jinns are like they can be a couple of them in the room, but you can't see them just because, again, they are outside the visible spectrum. And I mean, if they come into the physical form, I mean, they can take a form of like a cat or a snake, but you'll think it's a cat. But this cat, if it goes away, like it'll just disappear. This will not be a normal cat. Like this snake will be there and it'll disappear. Like it's not gonna. So I mean, even with the physical world, they can manipulate. These jinns can manipulate with the physical world. They can interact because they're very close to us. So they're not that far off in frequency. So they have direct interaction with the physical world. So, and they can have that. So I mean that's a total different story. Like jinn stories are like a full story. I mean, and jinns are very involved with the human race and the human beings and how things are running on this planet, and they're partly responsible for the way it is going. So
are they like negative entities, you feel?
I mean, they're not negative. Like, they just don't. They just have a quarrel with the human beings. I mean, it's not a question of negative. It's just that thing, human beings are superior than them actually, but they don't want to admit to that fact, and they want to prove that they are not. So I mean, I don't know, like it's just that kind of situation. It's like, I wouldn't call it like a positive or negative, but that's what the situation is. Okay. So, yeah.
And Heidi actually is in the chat room right now, and channel 27. She was wondering about all of the human sacrifices and animal sacrifices that have been going on for thousands of years.
I think in the interview with her, I just talked about that anyways. Like the point is that like so many animals are killed anyways every day for human consumption. Okay. Millions and millions all over the earth, millions and millions of animals are killed. Now there is a karma for that. There is energy which comes out from the killing of those animals. Okay. Now that energy has to be balanced, and that energy is balanced by human sacrifice. So certain amount of humans have to be killed in order to balance out that energy. And that's why wars are organized. So that kind of wars is another term for human sacrifice, basically. It's organized human sacrifice, right? So like, I mean, because the people who are in control, they know that if you let that energy be there, like if you just kill the animals and don't kill any humans, then that energy will reach that kind of proportion where people will start going mad. It'll affect them negatively to that extent that, nobody will be able to do their job. Nobody will be able to go to work, and the whole system will collapse, basically. So like they know that they have to pay the price by that to balance that out, So like it's a stupid cycle, but that's a cycle human beings have chosen to be on because of these people, like they don't have to be on that cycle because human beings are not designed to eat meat with the large intestines, and they don't have the teeth for it. They don't have anything which carnivores have, like, so like, I mean, it's a stupid cycle.
The teeth though, the teeth.
Yeah, there are teeth also. Like, I mean, like you can see the lion's teeth and tiger's teeth, and you can find out like how different they are from human teeth. Yeah.
Fangs, man, fangs.
Yeah. I mean, that is all practically there to see. I mean, but the thing is that like they and the people in the top, that's why they want people to eat meat. Like, I mean, because they want people to be in the cycle. Okay, of like you create this negative, that thing, now you pay back this thing, then pay back, and that's how it functions. The whole system functions like that. Loans, this thing, money system, all the systems on this earth function on this kind of negative thing right now, because it's a stupid way of being. Like, human beings don't have to be like that. I mean, like, there's no reason for them to be in this cycle. Yeah.
So what do we do to break out of it?
I mean, stop eating meat. I mean, if everybody stops eating meat, I think the whole war is finished. Everything, nothing will be there.
You think if people completely stopped eating meat, you think that'd be like that's it. That's it.
I mean, their control is gone anyways. I mean, all of that is gone. Like that'll be the end of that. Like, I mean, that's why they made up these religions where it's okay to eat meat. Like, if you have Christianity, it's okay to eat, but you can't eat meat of this thing. In Islam, you can eat meat of like that thing, but can't eat meat of this one thing. Like, they have made these very convenient kind of religions, like where you can drink alcohol, eat meat, do whatever, like, like lot is allowed, like, like it's all very convenient, like, like people can, go crazy basically. And, as long as you believe in that religion, everything is going to be okay. Like, like, I mean,
it's 15% of your income, and you go to church every Sunday, and you're okay, man. You'll go to heaven. That's all you gotta do.
Yeah. That's the kind of stupidity. Like, again, Planet of the Apes again. Like, there's, I mean, that's what it is. Like, it's, there's, that's why, like, all these, and then they pit these people against each other. Like all these religions, they make them fight each other as well. Like, like feed them all meat now, and we're gonna make them like, fat enough for the kill, like, basically.
The slaughter.
Yeah.
I've got some great questions from the audience. I was wondering if I could ask you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So this one is the North Star in Vedic cosmology. Is it or is it not the immovable star?
It's immovable. I mean, and everything, like one should learn that everything what you call latitude right now, 51 degrees or 30 degrees or 40 degrees or 50 degrees, it is all based on the North Star only. If you are in London, it's 51 degrees. That means the North Star is 51 degrees from you. And the more you move away from the center towards the equator, your degrees go down, basically. So whenever you say this is a degree of that particular city or place, basically you are saying that in reference to the North Star only.
With my telescope, when I go out and track the planets or the moon or even the sun, they move so fast that, I have to either have it computer aligned to where it'll track them, or else I have to manually do it. And those suckers are moving.
Yeah, they're moving fast. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, only they are moving. Earth is not moving. They are moving. Yeah, that's the thing. These things people can see themselves and stuff. Like, even if you look at a planet really, like through these days, like there are a lot of cameras and stuff which have good zoom, and you zoom into a planet and you can see it, and you'll find that it's not physical. Like, it's like a twinkling light, like any so-called planet like Venus or Jupiter or anything you can zoom into, and you can find out that it is not physical at all. Like, that is easy to see. That much technology is there right now in people's hands, so which you couldn't see like for 30-40 years ago, like, so yeah.
And the monkey wars that were talked about, and all these statues of these giant monkeys and stuff that the Vedas talk about, were there monkey people?
Yeah, there are all kinds of people. The bear people, monkey people, all kinds of people are there.
Bear people.
Yeah, bear people were there too. Yeah,
cool.
And, and that's why
that's the line I come from.
Yeah, and that's those are like more in the Russian area. What is now Russia? Like, okay. That's where the Russians are always called bears and stuff, like, as well. Like, in general, like that's the general that thing used for them. Yeah.
Well, I've seen ancient hieroglyphics and images and statues of lion people, of bird people. Were those really beings like that? Or are they depicting them with wings because they came down from the heavens? I mean, there's multiple.
Beings. Like if a being has an aura right now, okay, and they have that auric cloud behind them, okay, you can't physically see it, okay. Somebody has, and they have wings. Like beings out here as a human being can have wings, which will be their aura in the background, but your eyes will not be able to see it. But the clouds can reflect those wings at different times. If they go to a certain area, the clouds will become in those feathers. Those bird feathers will come in the sky wherever they are. So it's their auric thing which is making those clouds happen. Okay, so it's like that. That's what those wings mean. It means actual energy fractality which they're carrying. Just like horns, like if you say people with horns, like they're demons and they're this and that thing. Horns just mean that they're like the Kundalini suction pump has enough power to create these coherent things around their head, which is actually like a paraceltic pump for the Kundalini to go up actually. So it's good to have horns. That's why the word term horny comes from. Okay, like
those dang Egyptians. Just
is the sexual energy going up?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the Brahman, if you could get into a little bit more detail on that, the concept found in the Vedas, could you please get into more? This question is kind of asked differently. So just go into more detail if you would, please, on the Brahman.
Okay. Like Brahma is the creator. Okay. Creator means he creates this whole universe. Okay. It is that entity whose job it is to create. And when it starts creating, first it goes into meditation for a long time. It goes into that thing. And then when it has got the whole blueprint, then only it starts creating. And then it creates the whole, what we see, everything, and after that different beings are created, like different entities are created, and like human beings also get created at some point in this creation, not in the beginning. The different beings, different things are created. Like even the jinns were created before the human beings. So then the human beings are created, and other beings are created, and after that creation work is done, then these beings start living. In the beginning, there is no sort of problem when the universe starts. Okay, there's no like everything is all hunky-dory, everybody's doing well, everybody's having a great time. There's no problems, there's no disease, there's no that thing, there's no problems of any kind. Okay, no pain, no torture, nothing going on. Okay, it's all running like a perfect machine. Okay, and then as time goes on, and then beings don't follow the law. There are laws, and beings break them, and they get into trouble, and that's when the thing starts, and that's when this pain starts, and then hell start and all of that, because hell is not there in the beginning. Okay, there's no such realm like hell. Okay, there are 14 realms, but there's no such thing as hell. So which is only created when beings start breaking these laws, and when things get very, very bad and stuff like that, then different times different entities have to come in. That's where Shiv and Vishnu come in and sort of take care of the matters, either create destruction or teach the laws when the laws are not known, or something in some way they come and intervene. Okay, so that was called avatars, like Krishna, Ram, all of these are interventions. So there is name for interventions basically, which will be like in today's term ET intervention. But it's not ET, it's just transdimensional intervention. I mean, it is extraterrestrial if you consider Terra to be Earth.
It's like we're in a universal hard drive and everything breaks down into code.
Yeah. I mean, more than a code. I mean, because again, numbers and that thing, arithmetic is to that thing. If you think of it like that thing, there's consciousness. And then if you filter down consciousness, you get knowledge. Okay. And if you filter that down, you get mathematics. And if you filter mathematics down, you get arithmetic. And if you get arithmetic, if you that it down, then you only get code. So code is not consciousness. Okay, like exactly. Okay, there's always more to it. Like, I mean, like just like you found out with electron, you can't really like that with it. You can't touch it. You can't, that it knows you are there. It knows when you're not there. And, you know, it's like that. Like, it's not like a bunch of zeros and ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to describe it. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also the Tommy Nadu. I've never heard that. Somebody wrote in the comment section, ask about Tommy Nadu.
Tamil Nadu is just a state in India. It's a state in India.
Oh, okay.
Just like Kentucky or.
Oh, all right. That's an interesting question. There you go. I thought we would have something a little bit deeper than that. Maybe they just, anyway. All right. What else do we got, folks? Is there any more questions you would like me to ask right now? It's been about 2 hours. So first of all, this is amazing. I got to say, I've been just having a great time speaking with you. Your energy is awesome. And you're very intelligent. I like to have a conversation with somebody that can talk faster than myself, and that is you. So somebody said in the comment, I can't believe somebody's actually on the show that talks faster than Rex. Well, that's because, you know, we've got the man, the legend, the way of life right here. And, you know, please do let our audience know as well, kind of a little bit about what you do when you're not talking to me or reading or researching.
I mean, my life is very public. I've got like 900 plus films out there on my channel. Okay, 900 plus films. I've got a blog in which I've got 1,000 plus like blogs. Okay. I mean, I've got a lot of things people can go through, like, which will tell more about my things and like what I'm doing and what I've been doing like I'm involved with the crop circles for the last 10 years, more than 10 years. So the crop circle phenomena. So there are a lot of films on that. So they can catch up on that, like, you know, because that is a phenomena. Again, nobody can deny it. Like it happens physically. You can take pictures of it. Everybody, like, there's nowhere to hide from it. Like, so yeah.
I would be honored if one of these days in the future at your convenience, if maybe we could do like a group experiment and create some type of weather pattern somewhere on the planet. And
the thing is, since I've been staying in England in the summers, I come here. And the thing is that like the temperatures have reached like very high, like it's almost India temperatures, which happening out here, and people are wondering what is going on in England. Like it's never been that hot in England. I mean, we are having like tropical temperatures out there. Like, which is like, England was just supposed to be cold and rainy, and it's been like tropical summers out here. So, that's weather change for you. For starters, it's like that. That song, always take the weather with you, like that.
Right on. That's what you do. You take the weather with you.
Always take the weather with you. Like, because I like the hot and that thing, which is the better temperature for human beings to stay in, where you don't have to wear a whole lot of clothes, and like where your body breathes, and like it's not too dry. And I think if hell is anything, it is cold. Definitely, it's not hot. That's where you start hurting. Cold is when you start freezing and you're hurting, and you really hurt, like when you frostbite and all kinds of things, yeah. This is a little funny thing I wanted to just like like, because people, they always show in the Christian thing, the hellfires or burning, it's all hot and stuff. Like, I would say it's more cold than hot. Like
yeah, it's at least 100 degrees in my garage most of the time, and I'd much rather be in here than somewhere where it was 50 or 40 or colder than that. So I can take
even human body temperature is quite high, like it's inside. Like, anything which is close to that is a better thing for the body. Like, yeah.
Right on. Well, Prashant, it's been just a real honor to speak with you. I'm so glad that I got to know you, and I'm so glad that Heidi from Channel 27 said that I need to speak with you, because I really feel blessed and honored. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it was a nice interview with her as well. Like, I just did an interview yesterday with her, and and from her I came to know you, and she introduced me to I think it was very nice. I think it is time like that these kind of things are like sort of like the Vedic thing comes into some kind of that thing, like in the truthers community, and people who are trying to get to the truth, and like it'll be good for them. Like I mean, for them to go in that direction. Like
I'm going to do a lot more research into the Vedas now as well. And like I said before, I've done a few shows on the Veda text, but I've done a lot more on the Sumerian stuff and the Egyptian stuff and the ancient Hebrew and the Greek. So now, especially after speaking with you, I'm going to start doing more podcasts and diving deep into the Vedas, Vedic text, ancient, old school. I mean, just the fact that you said this comes
from the alphabet, like awesome. the Vedic alphabet, Devanagari alphabet has got 50 characters, just like English has 26. So the number of sounds in the Sanskrit script, the Sanskrit language are 50. Okay. So it covers much more of the sounds which you can make from your mouth. Okay. Than English does. Like in English, there's no soft D's and T's. Like, so if you have to say tapasya, for example, people find it very hard to say tapasya just because they'll always say tapasya, tapas, or like, because the soft T becomes a hard T, like, it's people have not practiced the soft T in the sound, like, it's like, like, those sounds, which are the Sanskrit sounds, are many more than, so that's where I find English is deficient as a language. It gives you this 26 things only to play with,
It's like it's limiting you to your abilities.
Yeah. So I mean, I like English. I mean, English is a very scientific language, and when a word is there, it means what it is because of how it has been put together. So it is a Kemetic language only. Like English is coming from Egyptian, Kemetic, and Sanskritic roots only. Sanskrit and Kemet. If you mix the two, that's where Latin comes from, and English takes from Latin, and So I mean, if you keep on going back, Sanskrit will be the root, and then the Kemetic languages, and then Latin, and that's how it carries on. English is a good language for communicating, like like scientific things, like like a word like fractality is there in it, okay, which is like a scientific concept, like it's good for that, but again, in majority of people don't use it like that, like, so it's not like, so like,
right on, man. Well, Prashant, a real honor.
Yeah.
The man, the legend, the way of life, the guy that can change. Right on, man. Well, Prashant, a real honor.
Yeah.
The man, the legend, the way of life, the guy that can change weather, and he actually walks the path that he preaches. He is the change that he wants to see. How much cooler is that? Seriously, a real honor. I hope to speak with you again. Thank you so much for coming on the show, and thank you everybody for being here with us. Right on. Have a beautiful day. Thanks, everybody. Yeah, have a beautiful night.